Hello everyone, 42 CEO, back here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Young Thug and the positive news around him being free. Also, the music, and what that's going to be looking like for the next years to come, since Thug is back and now he can release music. Um, if you were living under a rock, which I hope none of you are, Young Thug was released from prison. Now, he pleaded guilty to, I believe, 4 of the counts. Some of them he, pleaded nolo, which means like kind of no contest on that. But the rest he pleaded guilty to. The state, the prosecution suggested he get 25 years in prison and then 20 years on probation. His attorneys, the defense, basically said, no, that's not going to happen. What we're recommending is house arrest and then probation. And the judge, actually, who, since it was a non-negotiated plea, made the decision, said, I'm going to do you one better, Thug, and, you're going to just go on probation, 15 years probation. That's about it. Now, of course, if he messes up his probation, he will find himself in prison for a pretty decent time. I believe it'll be around 20 years, something like that. And there are some stipulations, things he can't do, things he can do, stuff like that, and we'll talk about it. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, it was looking like a very, very positive outcome for Thug. It's actually funny, too, the prosecution was willing to let him off on house arrest, I believe, or just probation, as long as he testified against a few things, and he disagreed, and he said, no, I'm not going to do that. So that's why they suggested the 25 years, since they couldn't come to an agreement. Anyways, in terms of, I believe around 4 stipulations and 4 key points for what his probation entails. First of all, he is banned from the Metro Atlanta area for about 10 years. Basically, he cannot go to Metro Atlanta. If there's an emergency, like a funeral, graduation, a family illness, or potentially like his illness, something like that, then he can go. He can travel within 10 years. But for 10 years, he's not allowed in Metro Atlanta. So I assume he'll probably not be anywhere in Georgia. Maybe he'll be in Georgia, but wouldn't want to risk it, I'll be completely honest. And that's the first thing. The second thing is he has to do 4 kind of shows or concerts per year, basically denouncing gang violence and talking against gang violence in totality, and kind of spreading positive message. That's really the point of it. So basically, it'll be 4 Thug shows a year, which is cool. Also, he can travel for work, which the state believes work is music, right? I mean, that's how he makes a living. It's his income. It's his job. So he can travel, and they've actually given him access to his passport. So I believe he can travel internationally, which is pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. He could take a nice vacation. I assume he'll probably just want to be a family, stuff like that, and won't really want to do anything crazy. Also, too, lawyer fees, stuff like that. I mean, he's probably still very, very well off, but, spending money on lawyers and court fees, all that stuff, probably don't want to spend money on vacation. Anyways, one of the other things, too, is he cannot have any contact with any of the co-defendants, any of them, except his brother, and he made a special request for Gunna. He is allowed to communicate with Gunna, which is absolutely incredible and something I wasn't expecting. I mean, when he said it, when he kind of made that request, or his lawyer made that request, I was like, okay, like that actually makes sense, but it went completely over my head. Didn't expect it. So those are some of the things within his probation. He cannot talk about gang violence in his songs, anything like that. He cannot mention gangs. He cannot kind of mention any illegal activities at all. So that's one of the things too. But I'd say overall it's looking pretty good. And the main reason why I wanted to post this is not really like a breakdown of his probation, because I think everyone kind of knows that. It's pretty easy to understand, everything like that. But I want to make this post because I want to talk about what's Thug's music going to be like. Like let's assume Thug continues making music, which I would assume he would, because he loves music, or at least from my understanding he does. How is that going to work? What's next for him, and all of that. So I guess the first part of it is what's next. Now, I think Thug's definitely going to take some time off, right? I think he's going to want to really relax for like a good month, and be with his family, kind of catch up on everything, get back invested into like what's going on with pop culture. Maybe, his investments, his companies, kind of check in on those and make sure everything's going okay. Also, he just has to get back into reality. He's been in prison for a few years now, and so it's going to take some time to like kind of get back into the groove, the swing of things, right? Probably, I don't know how long it'll take him for that. Maybe a month, maybe a few months, could be a week. He honestly could want to make music now, but let's assume it's a month. After this, I could definitely see him starting to make music. Maybe a single, maybe an album, maybe just some collaborations with other artists, maybe just some features. I really don't know, but I do think Thug will continue to make music. I think he'll be back on his music stuff and he'll want to make music. Now, the real question is, what's this music going to be about? Because as I said, one of the stipulations, one of the main things for Thug and his probation is he's not allowed to talk about gang violence and anything illegal for that matter. He can't talk about anything of that nature. So I'm kind of curious, what's he going to talk about? I mean, of course, there's, women, there's money. There's also maybe something, a point around him talking about like education, potentially, or him just doing better, maybe his religion. But if you know Thug and you know what he raps about, it's, not really. It's definitely a lot different than what they want him to rap about. So I wonder how he's going to take that approach. And I wonder if it's going to, bring any struggles for him or like have or create any struggles for him. I think Rashav actually made a really good point, one of my good friends, Rashav, saying he doesn't really have much to rap about. He probably only has one album worth of material on, talking about religion, education, maybe money, women, or just doing the right thing. But after that, it's like, I don't know. He's gonna have to kind of find ways to figure that out. I don't really know how he's gonna solve that. I haven't really seen it happen with another mainstream artist before, so it's gonna be kind of like a case study. We're gonna really get to see like how this pans out and how this works out for him. Also, too, I mean, he could just decide to not make music again. He already has like a legendary discography, and he's already top tier in terms of rappers and the status. But I do think Thug wants to add on to his legacy. I think Thug wants to continue making music, and I think it just makes sense for him to do it. Also, too, not that it's all about money, but I think from a money perspective, right, his first song is going to do freaking numbers, like absolute numbers. And so he doesn't want to give up that opportunity. It just doesn't make sense for him to do that. So, again, I mean, after an album, if he does drop an album, I'm wondering what he's going to kind of rap about. I wonder if he's just going to take an approach of, like, more so focusing on, like, what he does with, like, sound. Because Young Thug's sound is so unique and it's so different. So I'm wondering if that's kind of the approach he's going to take, if it's just really going to be a focus on, like, sound and ad-libs and maybe not really be substantive, like, not have a lot of substance in it. Or he'll just really flip a switch and change completely. I mean, there's another alternative, too. He just raps about what he continues rapping about or what he has rapped about, but then he's breaking the rules of his probation. He's going to go to prison. And I assume he doesn't want to go to prison because that's the whole reason why I took this plea is to get out of prison. So I'm just wondering what's going to happen. I'm wondering also, too, like, when he collaborates with other artists, are they allowed to talk about that stuff? I assume they are, right? Because they haven't been arrested for it. But like, is he just gonna change? Like, what if he has a song with Cardi that comes out? Like Cardi's just talking about, I don't know, sipping some four, like shooting something up or something like that. And then like, Thug gets on there. What does Thug say? Does he just have to like talk about getting money legally, or like how does that work? And I know you guys are gonna like say I'm sounding dumb, but like I'm genuinely curious. Like, how does that sound? Like, how is he gonna do that? I guess it's really just one of those things we're gonna have to wait and find out. Like, we're really just gonna have to wait and find out what he does with that. But I'm very curious, and I it's gonna take some time for Thug to drop. I don't think he'll drop soon. Again, I could be wrong about that. He could drop freaking tomorrow for all I know. I doubt it, but he could. He really could. So we'll see what happens. But what do you guys think is gonna happen? it's really up in the air. We won't know until we find out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video though. I hope you guys have been enjoying the videos lately. I've been loving talking about all this stuff, just news and just everything going on. I mean, I stream every day and I do the TikToks and stuff like that, but this is just a much more relaxed version of me, just a much more calm, collective, analytical, potentially even logical. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the content too. And yeah, have a great rest of your week and enjoy your weekend.